For some reason, it's going really slow.
All right, are we ready? Okay. Ready. I call the city council special meeting to order Monday, April 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead and move into a roll call. We'll start down with Councilor Pointer.
Ellen Pointer.
Nikki Wood.
Nicole Harden.
Tom Miller.
And Elaine Armstrong is here by Zoom. Elaine, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
We can hear you. All right, present. We're gonna move on to item 4, changes to the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda going to be made?
Mayor, I would like to add, after all the business is taken care of, about the ARPA funds and delegating someone to report the funds and an update on our budget, where we're at.
No action items or anything like that, correct? Just informational?
That's correct. Just so we'll be prepared for our Thursday meeting.
Okay, well, that is item 9.
You need to vote on that if the council.
Okay. We'll go ahead and vote on that. Does it, yeah, do we need a motion? Yeah. Elaine, do you want to state that in motion form, please?
Yes, I move that we add to the agenda update on the budget readiness and to delegate somebody for reporting of ARPA funds.
And a second?
Second.
All right, Councilor Armstrong made a motion to add an update on the ARPA funds and budget to the agenda, and Councilor Pointer seconded. Is there any discussion? No? All right, we'll go ahead and move to a vote. Yeah.
Is it appropriate to add to the agenda? That's not in there.
I think if it's just informational, no.
I saw it when I picked up my packet for Thursday's meeting that there was a update on the budget. And
Oh, yeah.
so we need to do that. It's in the packet, right? I believe.
You're not here, and in our boxes was a budget to actual for us for information, since it wasn't in the packet. So are you asking for an update on the budget process that's going on right now? Or-
Yes, it was a. I'm sorry. Because we don't have video, I can't see who's talking. So I apologize if I talk over somebody. I just wanted to know where we were on having the budget prepared. And then I was going to ask where we were on getting a actual to budget, but apparently that was in our box. But I would still like to find out where we are on the preparedness of our budget and when we can expect it.
Okay.
Mayor, may I?
Yeah.
So I believe the motion was to add ARPA discussion to the agenda.
Yeah. All right, is there any more conversation on it? Okay. let's go ahead and move to a vote. All those in favor of adding that to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. So that was 4 ayes and 3 noes. Motion carries. All right, do I have a motion to approve the agenda with the changes made?
I move we approve our agenda with the changes that have been made.
Second.
All right, Counselor Pointer moved to approve the agenda with the changes that have been made, and Counselor Miller seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, go ahead and move to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Vote. All those opposed?
No.
All right. Motion carries. All right, we're gonna move into item number 6. Approve resignation of the city recorder manager and declare vacancy of the recorder manager position. Our city recorder has given us a letter of resignation, and council has received that. Do I have a motion to approve it?
I move we approve the resignation letter from the city manager.
Second that.
All right, Counselor Pointer has made a motion to approve the resignation of the city recorder, and Counselor Hand seconded. Any discussion? Oh,
Okay. Barely.
wow.
And then I feel like I.
You can push yours back.
Okay. All right, no discussion? All right, let's move on to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries, it's approved. So now I move to declare a vacancy of the recorder manager position. That we can make a motion. We need a motion for that. We just kind of declare that it's an open position now.
Correct.
Okay. Were you raising your hand?
No.
Okay. With that being said, Krista, do you have anything you want to say? Or is to move into item 7, so we kind of feel like we need to talk about which direction we're moving forward as a council before we even.
So the purpose for putting the executive session on here was for you to consider candidates that are available on the LOC, League of Oregon Cities registry. And those are people that are willing to, potentially willing to come in to keep things running while you guys do a recruitment process, which can take sometimes 2 to 6 months. You can't be down that long. And if you would like to consider those people, I have provided you some preliminary information, and we can discuss which way you would like to go with that.
My only concern with that is there is some prerequisites that need to be satisfied to move into that executive session. And it doesn't say anything about interim city recorder manager for those prerequisites, but
I did consult with legal counsel, and he said to mention, and it is in the public inspection book, that resolution 2024-06 was the resolution adopting the hiring standards and criteria and policy directives for the purpose of hiring an interim city recorder manager.
Mayor, if I may.
yeah,
Okay, that may be true with that they passed that, but if there is any change in the job description, the public should have a right to comment. So we need to have a hearing if we're going to do it in executive session. Now, if we want to do it out in the public, we don't have to meet those prerequisites. But I think that some of the public should have the opportunity to state whether if they want an interim manager or an interim city recorder. it's as long as we do it in public, we don't have to go in executive session, and then we don't have to do the prerequisites. But I do believe that because the public may feel they have a right to say something, we need to do it. Have a hearing. And also,
Okay.
I would say is, what about opening it up then to other interim managers who may want to apply? So we haven't even posted for this. You're just selecting a group to interview or to talk to. I think we need to open it up to everybody then.
Counselor Hand?
I have in front of me an LOC guide to executive sessions, and in this guide, it outlines that this go to executive session to consider public officer, employment, staff member, individual. This does not allow an executive session to be held to employ a chief executive officer, public officer, employee, or staff member unless, and it outlines 4 things, 3 of which we just discussed. The 4th that we haven't discussed is it says the position vacancy has first been advertised. So we can't go into an executive session until we've told the public that this position is even available.
We just did tell the public it's
It's not
available.
been advertised.
Right, and I did confer with council that this is appropriate. So maybe take a vote and see where you guys are at. If you would like to discuss these, I'm just trying to leave you with somebody because the recruitment process is going to be a little bit longer than you have me for.
I agree that we need to move ASAP. At the same time, we really got to do it right this time. And I don't think looking at applicants and even considering them today is appropriate.
I don't either. We had ethics commission complaint last week, over this very thing.
Mm.
So let's not do that.
I feel, yeah, it needs to be one step at a time type thing. I agree, we're kind of in a pinch for time, so why don't we go ahead and take a vote, if council believes that we should move forward with the executive session. Yeah. All those in favor of moving into executive session?
It's against the law.
It's more of just like,
Consensus, can we do a consensus on this?
You could do a consensus,
yeah,
but I believe if we talk about, we cannot talk about these folks if we don't.
yeah, most definitely. With that being said, I do want to just, okay, I guess we can add item 8. If we were to skip the executive session, we need to discuss kind of where we're going to go, as far as if council believes that we should go forward with an interim city manager or permanent, or what are the feelings on that? So maybe we, in item number 8, we can have that discussion. Councilor Ward?
I don't believe it's possible to identify and hire a permanent replacement in the time that's.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So there's no choice.
Right. We just do a consensus vote of then about moving into executive session. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing and there's no video, so we can't see, but what was the consensus?
We're gonna do a consensus vote right now to see if council believes we should move forward with the item number 7 for the executive session.
Okay, I would only mention that I did call the ethics today to ask them about the prerequisites for going into 2A. And they says that it's for not to discuss the hiring, but to talk about hiring somebody. So if we do this 2A, we may be in violation once again by not holding a public hearing. It's based, and they would have put it in writing if I had had time to get it to them, because it's the question, because we have to, 2A, they called and they had a conference call, and they called me back with 3 of their employees, and they said that if we go in, 2A is meant to discuss the hiring of somebody, not to discuss the procedures. We need to do that in public.
Yeah, I think
So,
we were talking about doing that at number 8.
so why would we go into executive session?
We're taking a vote to just make sure that everyone's on board with not moving forward with that. I think that's kind of the common thought here, but we were gonna just take a vote on that.
All right. Okay, I just got the video, so I can now see you. What are we doing with the consensus to proceed with number 8? Why would we have to go into executive session for that?
So, we're having a consensus vote to see if everyone's on board with not doing item number 7,
Oh, not doing it. Okay.
not doing it, yeah. Okay, we all on the same page?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
let's put a quick consensus vote. Who would like to move forward with going into executive session? Say aye. Okay. And all opposed, or anyone opposed? Say nay.
Yeah,
Nay.
hey.
Okay, we will not be moving into executive session. All right, let's move on to item number 8. Well, like Councilor Ward said, we have to do some things here before we get a permanent city manager. I do think that we need to post for a permanent city manager quickly as well. So hopefully maybe we can schedule a meeting to approve the job description and get that position posted. As far as interim goes, we already have resolution 2024-06 adopting the hiring standards criteria policy for the purpose of hiring an interim city recorder manager. Now, would we need to do one without the word interim in there?
I don't think I'm understanding what the plan is, because if the plan is to hire an interim, that is a temporary person for a couple of months. You have that, you have the job description. The person, in my opinion, would then be in charge of recruiting.
Oh, okay.
The job is to keep it going and do a very thoughtful recruitment. Take your time, do your job description, do whatever it is that you feel needs to be done, but to have somebody in that place. Also, I mean, there is the possibility of appointing current staff members, but we cannot discuss that now. So I don't know what the plan is. So if you would like to go forward with job descriptions, maybe just repost what you have.
Okay. Councilor Ham?
Number 8 on our agenda says to announce steps in hiring an interim manager, and it seems to me that those steps that we should be discussing right now, like what process do we want to go through, not necessarily what the criteria are.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And in my mind, those steps are some of the things we already have, which is a resolution on an interim. It has some hiring criteria and policy directives in there. I feel like the only one who's really not filled is advertising. So if we could potentially add that step to today and decide to do that advertising for an agreed upon period of time, that will allow anybody who's interested in giving us an application to come forward, allow us to look at what might be on an LOC list, might be on, our options within our own staff. And we come back in 2 weeks and try to make a decision. Anything faster than that is gonna be rushed and not appropriate in my mind.
So you like the idea of posting that position open for about 2 weeks?
I think that,
That would be about the minimum we should do. We gotta do it.
Some of, may I? Yeah, some of the recruitments that I have been involved in, like I said, are 2 to 6 months. That if you feel that you,
We're talking interim. We're interim.
Yeah, in my mind, right now, we're talking about a shortened process for an interim, because we need someone immediately. Once we have the interim person here established, then we can go into that 2, 4,
Okay.
6 month process.
I understand. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Permanent.
Just, I think that was the only piece of the puzzle we were missing, is just posting the open interim position in the city. Anybody else have Councilor Ward?
So we pretty much have to fill this on an interim basis. We pretty much have 3 weeks total.
Mhm.
I appreciate Councilor Pointer's comment that 2 weeks is probably minimum, but given the time constraints, maybe not. Maybe a shorter time period is what you need.
I don't think there's a minimum requirement, by law, so. And like Krista said, there was the people on the LOC registry that she had provided that could be at any time, that could be tomorrow, that we could, once the position's posted.
there,
Maybe we can agree to 7 to 10 days, something, you know, I understand 2 weeks is half the time we have or more. But I mean, there's not a legal requirement, but there is a requirement for it to be functional and all. I mean, we put something out there. It, you know, if they happen to see it the first day, it takes a couple days, 7 days is like nothing.
I can put it together, get back together in a couple weeks.
Well, how about I suggest 10 days versus 2 weeks? That gives a full working period week and
Seen this done in a hurry several times, and the results have not been good. And I don't think we want to do that again.
yeah.
We have to advertise it for some of the time. The 10 days is about what we got, so. That's-
may I?
Yeah.
So most of the folks that you had before you, I have contacted, and out of that, one person might be willing and able.
That was, I guess it's something we can discuss down the line too, but Krista mentioned, housing is an issue. Which I know we have kind of discussed with the 8th Street property. If, you know, it would maybe help in our recruitment process, for a, I don't,
That was the case. The person I am thinking of said, yeah, I could be here by the end of the month. But again, you have to go through background checks, and that takes a little time as well. But he could be here at the end of the month, and as long as he could find some temporary housing. And that was discussing about 2 to 3 month period of time.
Mayor, has there been any discussion on salary? What are we going to be paying them?
That's why I'm gonna go into executive.
I was assuming the current pay scale.
We've got a salary range in the thing. Yeah.
And we discussed and approved all that.
Yeah.
That resolution.
It's
There.
Has there been any discussion at all about doing a interim city recorder versus an interim city manager? I mean, does anybody want to even talk about it? What the difference is in the two? It's the same, but they're separate. A city manager is responsible for planning, coordinating, and overall performance of the city. A city recorder is responsible for maintaining and protecting city records and documents, as well as administrating city elections. Which one do we need? We need somebody for maintaining, protecting city records. A manager is more discretion, independent authority with regard to overseeing the city and their duties, and are not under the mayor and council per se. A city recorder is archiving and secretary to the city council. Which one do we need more? The problem with, pardon?
Counselor Armstrong, do you not believe that our city and our sewer plant and our public works department need management?
I think that you have a project manager to do the sewer plant. I feel that if we hire, promote, and recruit for a sewer superintendent for, that they would oversee the plant. We had that in the past when we built the north site. Pardon?
We're losing you. You're breaking up a little bit there.
Okay. So it's our, our demographic, our people.
We lost you.
No, I'm still here.
We have on the agenda to announce steps to hiring an interim manager.
We discussed the next step being advertising. We discussed a period of time. Sound like we all more or less agreed that 10 days was what we had to spare.
Yeah, may I suggest something? Maybe it would be appropriate for the mayor to manage this particular recruitment. In such a case, there isn't somebody here.
Yeah, I'd be fine doing that. After you leave or currently? Currently?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine with me. As far as the getting it posted and seeing who applies and things of that nature. So do we want to schedule a meeting for 7 to 10 days from now, or 10 days?
10 days for that next.
Mayor,
Yeah.
can we get a vote that that's okay? The council is okay with that?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Can we, do we need a motion? Not, or just a consensus?
Motion, please.
Okay.
I moved that we. Sorry. That we set a meeting to review applicants for an interim city manager / recorder position in 7 to 10 days.
All right, motion to schedule a meeting has been made by Counselor Hand and seconded by Counselor Pointer. Any discussion? Were you meaning about me doing the recruitment? Yeah.
Could we just add that in the discussion?
Amend the motion.
Or amend the motion?
Yeah. We can make 2 separate motions to make it easier.
Yeah, that.
Okay. All right. So I feel like that's 2 different votes anyway, so, okay. We'll finish any discussion on scheduling the meeting
6 o'clock?
on the
Is that what it is?
7th. Yeah, what was it,
We didn't vote.
Yeah, we did it.
okay, well. All right. All those in favor of scheduling a meeting in 10 days, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Let's pick a date and time for this meeting. 17.
Like that for the day.
God,
Yes, Councilor Armstrong?
no, nothing. So we're scheduling a meeting in 10 days?
Yeah,
Okay.
to review the applicants. So that will be an executive session. I'll have the attorney, okay, well. Do I have a, do I have a motion about having me handle the hiring?
Recruitment,
Huh?
recruitment.
Yeah, the recruitment, yeah. Handling.
I move to approve Mayor Wood to oversee the hiring process of the interim city manager report.
Right, Counselor Harden has made a motion to approve the mayor to handle the recruitment of the interim city manager recorder, and Counselor Hand seconded. Any discussion?
The motion's been stated. Yes. Made as who will oversee the hiring process, not the recruitment.
Oh,
process.
oops.
Okay. Well.
Should I amend it? Okay, I move to approve Mayor Wood to oversee the recruitment process of the city manager. Interim. Do I need to sing it again?
Not even how it works.
Yeah, we gotta, you got it, it's okay, you're fine, you just say I amend my motion and then, yeah, there you go. I know, it gets confusing. All right, so the motion has been stated and amended to say, she approves we approve the mayor to handle the recruitment of the interim city manager recorder. Is there any discussion on the motion on the table?
Can you,
Go ahead, Ewan.
I'm sorry, Counselor, go ahead.
I was gonna only say that it became even more clear to me after reading the charter over this past week that the one hiring position that the charter puts in our responsibility is for the city administrator. So it seems quite appropriate, honestly, that the mayor would lead that process.
Counselor Armstrong?
Yes, and can you explain what you're going to be doing?
I think I'd be doing the posting and then seeing the applications and then bringing forth that information in 10 days and the different candidates that we have available. And then move from there.
Okay,
I think that's the first step. All right, is there any more discussion? Okay. Go ahead and move to a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Or would abstain. Okay, all opposed. And I will abstain from the vote. Sorry, I didn't mean to say aye. All right, motion carries. Okay. Is there any more discussion on how we're moving forward? We all on the same page? We'll make sure we're all on the same page here.
You know, just said you're going.
I know, yeah, okay, I just want to make sure before we close it down for. Okay. All right, we'll move on to item number 9. A discussion of the ARPA funds and the budget. Counselor Armstrong?
okay. I just wanted to know where we were on reporting of the obligated ARPA funds. I believe that we were supposed to delegate somebody to do it, so then they could then log on, get a password, and report. I don't know if our city manager has logged on to the ARPA funds or gotten a password yet.
Yeah.
Has she? The treasurer's portal?
I'm pretty sure the city has had access to that portal for years. Krista?
Resolution, I think I gave you guys a copy, resolution number. Resolution. Oh, here we go, sorry, 2025-05, still has some inconsistencies both on, I believe, the council's part as well as my part. I have a different version. I've also printed particular minutes for you to consider. Mayor Wood offered some changes that you guys discussed, and I feel like maybe we just need to go back and look at those minutes. And apparently the intent was not understood in this resolution. So the first table is to indicate what happened on November 14th, and that is why I am printing off these minutes. Then as we go down, these were the contracts that were awarded. And one of the things was the deck not being one of those things. In these minutes, it does say the deck is the thing. So I think the council needs to come to a consensus before I can report.
Yeah, I discussed with Krista today, the last meeting when we went over this resolution, we decided there was quite a few errors in it. I did mark down most of those errors and I gave it to Krista. But I think we should, she was confused on what to report, because I think we were kind of, as we did all this stuff in October, things just kind of got confused. So I was hoping maybe Thursday at the meeting, we can go over this one more time, approve it, and then Krista would have something to report to the portal.
I'm not understanding why we need a resolution. The only funds that can be reported on the treasurer's portal is the ones that were obligated, a signed contract or purchased prior to December 31st. So when was the signed contract for the deck?
October, I think, October.
Yeah.
I know that's when we approved the contract, but when was the signed contract? In January? So I don't think we need to spend the time on a resolution. You need to just report the items that have a signed obligated contract. And I think we need to designate a representative to do the filing. There's webinars, trainings that can be done, and they walk you through filling out the entries. So I think the council should do that.
I think there's been so much confusion for all this ARPA stuff that the city manager didn't know what to report. And so what you're saying is that I personally like the idea of having a resolution for it, where it's all laid out. And I really like this idea. If we can just nail down the numbers and approve it, then Krista can just do whatever she needs to do to report. I think we need to have all this information lined out correctly moving forward just for our records, because it was such a cluster when we did it in October that we really just moving forward, it needs to be all laid out. So,
And I was in the portal today, so it's not an issue of getting in there.
yeah, I don't know what it looks like, but I feel like it's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated, but there is, it's not advisable to commingle those things with council reporting city things. That's why you have staff. We just would like for you to decide what that is. And that was how this whole thing started, is how would you like it reported?
So why don't we take this paper and have all the changes ready to go on Thursday and give the city recorder manager what she needs to just upload it. And then maybe once you upload it, you can let us know that it's been done. But work for everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this one that was on our dais, the one with some of the changes made?
It was, except for I did change 8th Street, but it did not, again, Word did not save. So I have it noted here to change it to 8th Street, but yes.
One of the things about the confusion that we had at the last meeting for the whereas on November 14th part this is what we decided as these round random numbers to designate. And then we were saying, oh, it doesn't match the following vendors have been awarded. It's because this is what we designated and then what was actually awarded. I think there's a little confusion on that. So just to clarify, but let's have this ready to rock on Thursday so we can this handled, and then Krista can let us know when it's been done. And then I think Elena was just asking for, as far as our budget being compiled and ready to go for our budget calendar, we're still on track for those things, or?
Trying, yep. 21st is the first budget meeting, and then your second one with public comment, the 28th. So that's really just my focus, is trying to get that ready for you guys.
I'm sorry, my question was, when would you have it ready to give to the council and the budget committee so they can start reviewing it?
The 21st.
You're going to give it to us the day of the first hearing?
That,
That's what it is.
so I did ask for a little bit of space to be able to focus on that, and that's what I'm able to come up with. So the 21st is going to be the first review. You can make changes at your meeting, and then come the 28th, have a different draft if that's what we need to do.
Yeah, in the past, I understand the crunch for time. And if that's all we can do, that's all we can do. In the past, we have had a copy of that a couple of days before the meeting. So
If I'm able to, I will certainly do it, and I absolutely can appreciate that. And I have even in the past drove around to people's houses to give them to them, so I appreciate that. I am trying, but I need to focus on that.
I get it. Even if we could maybe get an email that night. before the
Yeah,
meeting. If I may, if we're discussing budget stuffs, I had a question about the last training we had for budget training. I don't know if it made it to you. I'm interested to see where we stand on collecting TLT as compared to the estimates we had during the last budget process.
Yeah.
And then are there any estimates in the works for the next year? Because that helps us plan on where that money's gonna go. You know what I mean? I'm interested in paying attention to that track and how it's going and.
Yeah, I just picked up the financial reports from the CPA today. So ending year 24, and then what we have now, which is what you have. So you should have, it should be by fund. And I haven't had a chance to review them. I gave them to you as soon as I got back. So it should be in there.
And it shows collected to date.
It should, yes.
Okay.
But like I said, I have not reviewed those. And so the reports are looking different because the previous CPA was doing the reports in Excel. And as we're switching over, it's going to be a little bit different, but I think in the end, it will be better. What we'll have real-time access. So like you could come in and say, where's the TLT? I could go in and get you a report right now. Like, where are we right now? So.
Is that possible by the 21st to have some of those numbers?
Well, you have the budget to actual right now. That's beginning July 1 all the way through.
I get it, the estimates for next year.
Oh.
You know,
Well,
we're gonna be budgeting on spending money that's coming in, and if we don't have an estimate.
Well, we haven't really increased the amount of Airbnbs, and I don't know really where that's at without looking at the rest of the county. I did do a pretty thoughtful, I thought, report for you about TLT dollars, just to kind of see what the percentages are in the county, and so you could do a little bit of projection, but I don't have any of that as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
May I ask just one thing? So if I understand it correctly, we are not going to get the budget until the actual budget committee meeting. When we walk in, you'll give it to us then. Would we have it earlier in the day?
She said she was gonna try her mightiest to get it to us before. Even
No,
if it means email the night before.
Okay, I'm just saying is on the 21st is when she says she's planning on giving it to us. Is it going to be where it's available earlier in the day on the 21st, or is it that night?
I don't think she's nailed down a time that specific.
Okay,
So we haven't approved the budget calendar yet. So I'm being a little presumptive because of noticing and getting it in the paper. So I have already put it out for publishing, provided that that is the budget calendar, so that you could hopefully have a draft before I leave that is well on its way, so that I'm not leaving you in a position. So I will do my best to get you the draft as soon as possible.
All right.
And can I please have all of the personal information that I left in here?
All right, if there's nothing else, then, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting at 6:45 PM.
Just leave it here.